Welcome to episode 1047. It's Thursday, July 16th, and you're listening to the Geek News Central. This show is sponsored in part by GoDaddy.com, HitChat.com, and listeners just like you. Great deals from GoDaddy can be found at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. Want to see what's new in group collaboration? Visit HitChat.com/Geek News. Geek News Central is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. Here we got a great show lined up for you, and it is a whirlwind of activity around here. But hey, how about that Amazon Prime fail sale? Talk a little bit about that and a lot of tech. Talk about Pluto. You guys know what comes next. Strap in. Here it comes.
All right, people, I need a go, no-go for the Geek News Central podcast. Digital archive recorders.
We're go fly.
Microphone.
We're go fly.
Video feed.
Go.
Web browser.
Go.
RSS data stream aggregator.
Go fly.
Interflux Toddism suppressor.
All right, I'm confused.
Host readiness check.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
The Geek News Central podcast is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to go. Cue Todd in
5,
Button, who's got the button?
4,
There's no cause for alarm.
3,
Everybody hold on to something.
2,
Just press the button.
1.
Aloha and welcome to Geek News Central. And I tell you, I've got a little confession to make. You know, some days it's like you get out of bed on the wrong side of the bed. You don't even necessarily wake up grumpy, but things progress all day that just kind of like, you're kidding me? You're kidding me? Oh my goodness. Really? What? It necessarily hasn't been one of those days exactly, because it's actually been a pretty nice day. But it's like, got everything ready in the studio, got ready to go, and did my last step. And I said, you got to be kidding me. Had a little problem. Had to reboot the main computer in front of me. And you know, it's just, we're creatures of habit. And anytime I'm over the limit from when I normally want to get started with the show, I'm going to this unnecessary panic. Because, you know, I try to keep to a schedule, but you know, most of you are sleeping. Most of you are not on the live stream. Most of you don't care. You're catching the show later. But for some reason, there's this thing in my head that by 8 p.m. Honolulu Standard Time, I need to be go. And anyway, it's just one of those nights. But everyone, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here. Of course, my name is Todd Cochran. I am your super geek to do a super show. We talk a lot about tech tonight. Got a lot to share with you, and I want to thank you for being here. Hey, more importantly, you know, everyone that listened to the show for the very first time, you need to get connected here, and we want you to be part of our Ohana. This part of this show's DNA is that every listener that listens to the show and comes back on a regular basis, or even if you just come back once a year and listen to the show, you're part of the family here, and we want you to get subscribed. You can do that right over at geeknewscentral.com. Grab the iTunes or the Android link there. Just hit click. And whether you're on your mobile device or on your, on your desktop, if you're on your desktop, just watch the show right there on the website. But we want you, more importantly, too, as well, to get signed up for the newsletter. The newsletter contains everything I'm going to talk about during the show today. I have all the links that goes out immediately following the show so that you can follow along when you're listening later on your mobile device or with your tablet or wherever you may catch this show. And believe me, over the years, we've heard this show is listened to in just about every location known to man and woman. So, but we want to thank all of you and our great writers at Geek News Central as well for putting out great content. I definitely appreciate everything that they do. Of course, you can reach me personally, geeknews@gmail.com, or you can reach out on Twitter @geeknews is the place to follow. And Google Plus, Facebook, all those great places. Of course, you can watch the show as well on the Tech Podcast channel on the Roku Boxy, Samsung TV, Google. Yeah, did I miss one? Anyway, set-top boxes galore, Chromecast. Just look for the Tech Podcast channel. If there isn't a Tech Podcast channel on the device you have, just bring us up on the Apple TV or wherever you may want to listen. Doesn't matter where, but just about in every single device. what else have I got? My little short note stack. I think that's it. Of course, I want to thank tonight our sponsor, one of our sponsors, GoDaddy.com, for being a longtime sponsor here at the show at Geek News Central. Lots of ongoing great deals for all of you to be able to save your hard-earned cash, and that's what it's really about here at Geek News Central, is saving your hard-earned dollars. And we want to put you in connection with great deals, and of course, GoDaddy has great web hosting products, servers, virtual dedicated servers, business accounts. They're really focused heavily right now on business customers, and that's kind of outlined a little bit in the promotion offers that we have. We got 30% off on new product purchases, 99cent.coms, and then we have 3 separate web hosting products. We've got a $1 a month website builder with a free domain, and Microsoft Outlook email address, $1 a month for 12 months. We've got a $1 a month for 12 months economy hosting with a free domain. We got $1 a month managed WordPress hosting, again for 12 months with a free domain as well. All those codes start with CJC, and then they end up with a GNC WP1, GNC 1HS. Again, CJC GNC GOT, CJC GNC 99, CJC GNC 30. But the best thing is you don't have to remember any of those promo codes. You just come over to the website at geeknewscentral.com and find the offer that is going to be for the product that you want to save money on, and you click on the link that takes you to the website and should lock in our code. Make sure that if you're snooping around on their site for a while, that as you get to checkout, that you do come back to my page at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy and grab that code. It's on the website, and I want you to cut and paste that into the promo code section at checkout. I want to make sure you lock in the code for this show on the site so that we guarantee we get all credit, keeps the lights on, keeps the family fed. We want to thank GoDaddy for being a sponsor here at Geek News Central. Again, geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. All right, the heat wave / mugginess continues. I thought it was going to break tonight. As I was getting ready to do the show, and as things were, starting to get dark here in Hawaii, the clouds were just black, and I'm like, "Come on, rain, dump on us, let's go." And it's a little bit of showers here and there, but if you'd have seen the clouds over Honolulu today, you'd have swore that we were going to get a foot of rain. It just looked like it, but it never. In lots of humidity in the air, you're just waiting for it to dump. And I don't know what's going to happen here. It's not as bad as it's been, but we're all still crying like little babies here about the high humidity. So very, very, very odd weather here in Honolulu. Definitely something is amiss. This past month, really my focus has completely been towards the event that is fast approaching here in just a couple of weeks. I'm going to be leaving for Fort Worth on the 29th. And as you all know, being inducted into the Podcast Hall of Fame. If any of you are in striking distance, I want to invite you to the Omni Hotel. Please send me an email. Ask me if you're coming so I can give you information about the time and everything else. But please come to the Hall of Fame Awards, and they're having an award ceremony as well. So definitely come and we'll hang out together. And I'll buy a few rounds afterwards. If you are, again, come out and hang out as part of the Ohana, we want you to do that, or I want you to do that. So please RSVP with me at geeknews@gmail.com. But really beyond that, it's really what we've got planned for some new product announcements at Raw Voice / Blueberry. And the marketing paper today, I think we finalized. I'm so jazzed. I want to share it with people, but I can't yet at this point. I have to wait. The programming team is making great strides. I think we're going to make what we had initially focused on. Got a lot of work to do after Podcast Movement as well, but the team has really been doing a bang-up job getting ready. So Mackenzie, one of our team members at Raw Voice, will be going to Fort Worth with me, and then we'll be basically talking with the content creators there. So I've been hyper-focused on that, and then we've had some new advertisers want proposals as well that's come in. So been pretty busy here. It's been very productive, and I'm adding some new clients as well. So it's been just busy on the business front. We're going to do a new media show this coming weekend. Rob has got us a couple of guests, or one guest lined up, and I apologize. I don't have the email up in front of me. He told me it was. I think it's a pretty mainline podcaster. Can I get to it quickly? I don't think so. I don't have anything ready for you, but just saw that come in just for the beginning of the show. So we'll have a new media show on Saturday. But that's kind of it. It's what's going on around here. Nothing. It's the dog days of summer are here at this point, and many of you are on vacations and not tuned in, which is fine. That's what happens this time of year. But for those of you who are, you guys are what's important, and we're going to kind of keep on cranking here. I do want to give another word of thanks to our Ohana, and also got some feedback on Twitter from some listeners over the last couple of shows. So I do want to appreciate all the folks giving me positive and constructive feedback over the last couple of shows via Twitter and other venues as well. We want, of course, to talk tonight about a product that I'm using a lot, and something that has really been a game changer for me, and I've achieved essentially inbox freedom. My email inbox still gets a lot of like business email coming in and offers and everything, the junk that we all get on a day-to-day basis. But my team emails are maybe down to 1 or 2 a day, where they might be 40 before. And that's because we're using HipChat. And if you're spending too much time on email and you're getting dragged into meetings where nothing ever gets done, really now there's a way. And this is just absolutely game-changing. HipChat's for developers, engineers, marketeers, consultants, operations, collaborative teams, you name it. It's for organizations of all industries, including tech startups, nonprofits, medical, media, editorial companies, you name it. This is a great product. And it gets you the information you need faster than email, and reduces the junk email back and forth, and it reduces those face-to-face meetings. But at the same time, have an archive that you can search and find information out. HipChat is a great solution for remote work. So my team loves it. That's, we have all our team members in there chit-chatting. And it lets you bring the office with you wherever you go. And through chat and video calling, whether you're co-located in the same office or across the ocean. So HipChat is your command center. So great teams get more done with HipChat. And I want you guys to really take advantage of this offer, because you're going to have a game changing in the way you work. I guarantee you, after the first 30 days of using this product, if you can get your team tied into this, HipChat is offering all of you a 90 days of HipChat Plus for free. Get premium features like unlimited file storage, unlimited message history, and guaranteed support. Again, free for 90 days. Get your team on HipChat now. So visit hipchat.com/geeknews. That's hipchat.com/geeknews. hipchat.com/geeknews. It'll take you to the website that's up on, for those of you watching the video, and your team's going to love this. You're going to, if this isn't game changer for you, nothing can be. I'm going to tell you, it's just going to change the way you work as a group. All right? Thanks for HipChat for being a sponsor here at Geek News Central. So what I want to do now is get into the stack, into my large stack of content. And of course, we want to congratulate NASA, JPL, everyone for the Pluto flyby. We're starting to get lots of, tomorrow we're going to get, I think, a mother load of images. So it's big press day, 1 o'clock Eastern. So by about the time I'm got about 2 hours worth of work in tomorrow, I'm going to tune in to NASA TV and see what they've got to show us. Because, if the pictures from the moon are awesome, then I think we're going to have some absolute amazing pictures from Pluto itself. And of course, some of that close-up stuff was really, really incredible. And really, it's a It's a planet unlike others we have visited, just because the topography is pretty intense. And at the same time, not a lot of big impact craters. So it just shows you, compared to the moon, it's a lot different. But anyway, I'm excited to see what pictures they're going to have for us tomorrow from NASA. They're learning about the methane and the ice on the planet as well. So, the scientists are going to be busy over the next 10 months as the probe sends all the data back. It's going to take that long. And really, the modem speeds are like 1 kilobit. So it takes a long time to get images back from Pluto. So we'll see the stuff trickle out little by little. The sale of the century, bigger than Black Friday. So as I was finishing, let's see, the actual big sale day was yesterday. So Tuesday night, about 9 p.m. here Honolulu time, that was midnight PST, the sale kicked off. And I kind of logged in and I looked at what was going on at Amazon, and I was like, man, there's a lot of crap. And it just looked, initially, and I thought maybe it's because it's the middle of the night. They're not, they're kind of just rolling out some stuff. I got to looking at the electronics. There really wasn't, nothing to really even get excited about. And I, looked at the stuff for about an hour, and refreshing the page and tried to buy some SD cards, but every time I clicked add to the card, it says like 5,802 on the waiting list. My chance of getting an item was poor. And that's really what I was after, was some memory sticks and, just some, mix match stuff. And to see what they had, I was prepared to maybe even to buy a TV. And went to bed. Got up the next morning, and same crap. Same junk. And, throughout the day, a couple items, I had my eye on, and if I missed that the lightning sale where it rolled out, like if I was 3 minutes getting back to the after it had rolled out, they were already sold out. This stuff was, and they were selling out just absolute. It looked like my grandma's yard sale, and you couldn't buy anything if you wanted to. A lot of people were buying stuff, obviously. Amazon's all happy today. But I thought it was just me, maybe missing deals. I wasn't paying attention close enough. But it turns out half the country was not being able to buy anything either. Of course, it didn't help that they had granny panties and shoehorns and other kinds of stuff like that on sale. And I'm thinking, where's the sales? Where's the stuff that all of us want to buy? And it looked to me like they basically went into the warehouse and said, bring me everything that hasn't sold, that we've had sitting on the shelf for 5 years. Bring that, and we'll sell that. That's what it looked like. It really did. And I think your chances of scoring something in the lightning deals were just about as equal to getting struck by lightning. You just couldn't buy anything. And I think Amazon, and I posted a lengthy post on my Facebook page that's gotten a lot of traction. I think they did themselves more damage than good. It was a huge letdown. My son, it was kind of ironic. It was about yesterday evening, about 7, and of course the sale was already over, but an Amazon Prime Day ad run on the TV. And he started like screaming, junk, 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 rip off, rip off, rip off, scam, scam. He's 11, and he had tried to buy a couple of things. He had his eye on a keyboard, and he wasn't able to get anything out of it. He was mad. Now, if my 11-year-old is mad about, and of course I kept my mouth shut. I didn't say anything. We were all just kind of like, I guess, like, this is not a sale. And I quit looking at the website, to be honest with you. I didn't, I think some people watched it all day and got even more mad. But they've done themselves some harm, and I'm gonna have to really kind of step back a little bit and think about, okay, maybe I need to shop around some more. Because of shipping being free, I just immediately always go to Amazon and overlooking some sites that I have, used to give a lot of business to. But based on their actions and based on this hype, and yeah, they sold 51,000 Bose headphones, and they sold supposedly 47,000 telephones, 14,000 iRobots. So they said they sold a lot of stuff, but I tried. I couldn't buy anything. I tried to buy some stuff, and it didn't happen. So they're all happy. But I think really all of us know the true story on this. Prime Day fail was classic. It was a billion times better than Amazon Prime Day. Watching that on Twitter. And so they moved a bunch of crap, and they obviously people weren't buying stuff. The iRobot had only sold one unit the day before, and they sold 14,000 on Prime Day. So you put 22% off on something, and put it in front of their face all day long, and I guess people buy that stuff. Not I. There was supposed to be this $100 TV or $100 40-inch TV. That was gone in like 30 seconds. I mean, it was gone so fast it wasn't even funny. But what do you guys think? Think Amazon hurt themselves? I think they did, and it's going to give me opportunity. And I even went over to Walmart and looked at their website, and I'm not a big Walmart fan, but when I looked over there, and there really wasn't a lot of stuff that I was even too. I really was not in the shopping mood. But when they said this is going to be a bigger deal than Black Friday, to me was like, all right, we're going to get some deals. And it was just like any other Black Friday event. They advertise it big, and then they have 10 TVs. And yet they get 1,000 people in the store, and because 10 people got TVs, they're happy. The other 990 are pissed, and they end up maybe buying a toothbrush on the way out, right? So it was the same kind of mentality play. But I think they did themselves a lot of damage. I was mad. Not mad, maybe disgusted. Okay, so enough about Amazon. Just gave them a bunch of free press. I feel bad for the people that bought Prime memberships just because they were anticipating something big in the sale. I hope everyone did trials versus buying. That would have probably been the best way to do. Okay, I want to talk about just something that astonished me. How many of you have run into someone that said they had a degree in something, but in the back of your mind, you really wondered? I was talking to someone one time, and they happened to have the same degree that I did. And so, you've done some of the same classwork, especially if you went to the same university. And, I got to talking with this guy, and the way he was talking, it just, to me, I was like, if he's got a professional aeronautics degree, he didn't go to the same class as I did. So we all kind of can feel people out, and, there's a lot of fraud out there. People claiming they have a degree. They may get one printed from one of those farms, basically a degree farm. But there was an official who works for the government, and this is incredible. During a House Oversight Government Reform Committee meeting yesterday, where they were answering questions about the vulnerabilities in the government ITs, in the agency systems. This is some of the stuff for OPM. Apparently there was a gentleman who was the assistant, now listen to this, assistant director of the Interior Office of Law Enforcement and Security from 2007 to 2013. So he was the assistant director. So probably this guy was a GS 14. The director probably would have been a 15 or maybe an SES. Maybe this guy, I doubt, I'm pretty sure he would have been higher than a GS 13. But anyway, this gentleman was, again, director of the Interior Office of Law Enforcement and Security from 2000 to 2013, heading its technology division. He claimed to have a bachelor's degree from the University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh and a master's degree in technology management from the University of California, Florida. But he never attended either of those schools. He was caught, confronted, and he resigned from his position at the Interior Department when the fraudulent claim was exposed by a representative of the University of California, Florida's Alumni Association, who discovered he had never attended the school after the gentleman had accepted and suddenly deleted a connection with her on LinkedIn. Now, you would have thought this guy would have went off and went to private sector, right? No. He did not leave government service. He took another job at Census Bureau, and apparently is still there. Now, his name has been redacted from the official report, but it was all over the hearing today. Representative Cynthia Lemons of Wyoming mentioned his name more than once during the committee hearing. She says, I'm a little concerned. No, well, I'm more than a little concerned that he had access to law enforcement sensitive materials and other secure information, and that he had falsified his background, and now it appears that he is working for another federal agency, the U.S. Census Bureau. So educational credential fraud has been an issue in the past, but here is something even more shocking. How did he get through his background investigations? How did they not find this before? And even more disgusting, this guy received federal funds to obtain further education through Harvard Senior Executive Fellows Program in 2011. Despite having no previous formal education, the current tuition for the program is $21,000. How is this even possible? They're not doing credential checks? It's just shocking to me. And we wonder why OPM was hacked. I know the majority, high majority of government workers are hardworking. People claim they don't, but people that I know that work in government work very hard. They've been affected severely by budget cuts, and they're very, very busy people. They're very professional. They do a great job. But it just takes a few idiots that absolutely just make the public at large go, what is going on? And when there's so much drama right now with OPM and everything that's happened, you would think that they would be able to, dig around, validate credentials of people, make sure they've actually went to school, have people interview them that actually have a degree in the same, actually go through a process. How he's managed all these years is amazing. But definitely fooled a lot of people for a number of years, which makes you go, All right, Netflix. Netflix didn't have a great earnings report. They still were profitable by like $23 million. They didn't make a lot of money, but they made a little. And they've also won a patent battle between Rovi. So Netflix and Rovi's patent battle is concluded with Netflix beating back the entertainment guide company. Rovi's been around a long time, and they had provided digital entertainment guides to cable companies and others, and has long used its patents to enforce its dominant position in the market. That strategy has come in for criticism, which Rovi's patents being viewed as covering the basic idea of an electronic TV guide. But in an order published yesterday, U.S. District Judge Phyllis Hamilton invalidated 5 of Rovi's patents. One of the Rovi patents was on categorizing shows using combination categories. Such combination categories could include such simple things as sports dramas or romantic categories. The judge found that Rovi was seeking to outright patent the use of such combinations with no meaningful limitations, and so it was bounced. And so a number of them were. So Netflix has won big on these against these folks. I don't know how much money they spend on lawyer fees, but this is a huge win for Netflix and a big blow for Rovi. At the same time, Variety magazine, Variety.com, is saying that password sharing amongst Netflix, HBO, and other users is costing those groups $500 million a year by them not cracking down. So are you sharing? My kids all live at home. They all have access to the Netflix and the HBO. Actually, we've got an HBO channel, not a subscription, but they got access to Netflix. And my daughter understands she doesn't share that with her friends. But there is a lot of illicit password sharing, and it appears to be a very, very serious issue. And again, costs up to $500 million worldwide. So considering that Netflix just cleared $23 million, I think all of us that are cable cutters should take a close look at how we're securing our connections. If we want cord cutting to succeed and to grow, we can't be sharing passwords with multiple family members. We got to make them pay their own way so that Netflix and HBO and those folks can be encouraged by earning more money to be able to, through, earning through more subscriptions. So we have to all pay attention to this. But that's huge. Huge, $500 million a year because they're not cracking down, and you just wonder if they ever will. Great article over on Intel that CNET covered talking about Moore's Law and some challenges that Intel has. We talked a little bit about this, but they're hoping to get back on track, as I talked about a little before. But Intel's co-founder, Gordon Moore, who hoisted Moore's Law in 1965, came pretty close to being right. So through so many years. But they're saying right now it's about 2.5 years to do a doubling. And they hope to get back to 2, but not at this point. So Moore's Law may be busted completely. Who knows? Hey, Uber's trolling New York City mayor in its app. So they're trying to limit the number of people that can drive for Uber in New York City. So today when Uber drivers were opening the app, they saw this little pop-up. It was called the de Blasio Uber. And essentially what it did was a call to action. And they had a little box there that basically said, this is what Uber will look like in New York City if Mayor de Blasio's Uber cap bill is passed. And they brought him to a map with no Uber cars. It said, email the mayor and city council. Say no to de Blasio Uber. Email now. And nice way to engage their customers to do a little grassroots stuff right from within their app. Pretty powerful. I think very, very smart on Uber's part. And they're trying to keep this crackdown from happening. We all love our Wi-Fi. We love getting Wi-Fi when we're out and about. I'm very, very leery about jumping on any Wi-Fi that I'm really not familiar with. If I'm in a Starbucks or if I'm in a McDonald's or something like that, I'll jump on their Wi-Fi. But if I'm just out and about and I see a public Wi-Fi that's maybe not tied to Time Warner or some of the other providers, I stay away from it. But in a survey of 300 North American and European Wi-Fi users, it was found that a vast majority of consumers, 76%, connect to Wi-Fi outside of their home on a regular basis. And they pick hotels, they pick restaurants, they pick locations that have great Wi-Fi, one over the other, including who they're flying with as well. So we are some internet junkies at this point, in a big, big way. But it just goes to show, I do the same thing when I'm looking for a new hotel to stay at. I will try to find the reviews on the internet access. I'll call the hotel and ask them what kind of speed they have, and I'll pick one hotel over the other if their internet sucks, or it sounds like that their speed isn't that great. So you pay, hotels and airlines would bode well to pay for good connectivity and have free Wi-Fi available on the properties. And businesses at large should do this too. Apparently, there's a sneak attack on net neutrality right now. On June 12th, we know that the FCC open internet order mandating the strongest net neutrality prediction in history went into effect. But Big Telecom allies in Congress has slipped language into a 158-page government funding bill that would take away these net neutrality protections. The House Appropriations Committee passed the bill on June 17th. The full House is expected to vote soon. And I got this today, and it's a little late. We're already into July. So has anybody heard if these anti-net neutrality provisions made it through on funding? Does anyone know? I don't know why I just got this, because, again, this has been going on a while. So has anybody heard? Because I don't remember talking about this. Maybe I did. I don't remember seeing an article about them sneaking in language. I knew they were talking about it, but I don't remember ever sharing anything with you guys about that directly. So if anybody has any knowledge on this, drop me an email, okay? Hey, Tesla and Elon Musk are announcing something new tomorrow. And could it be, finally, that the Model X deliveries, and maybe we're going to see the Model X? Could that be the case? Maybe you get some more details on the Model 3. But, of course, 11 a.m. or 2 p.m. East, 11 p.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern is when this is going to go down. So they get the time right there, 11:12. It's only 3 hours between Pacific time. I think they got that wrong in the article. Someone counted 4 hours, not. What am I talking about? Duh. It is 3 hours. But I'm an idiot. Upper level math. I'll be honest, I am a little short on sleep as well. So the lower level math functions aren't working. Jeez. I'm better check myself here. All right. Chrome is starting to implement more visible protection against unwanted software. So this was posted by a Google Safe browsing team. They said last year they announced increased focus on unwanted software. They're calling UWS, and publish our unwanted software policy. In the coming weeks, these detection improvements, which they've made, will become more noticeable for Chrome users. They'll see more warnings, like basically it says the site ahead contains harmful programs. I actually got that on CNET the other day. Loading CNET, it said, hey, there's an issue here. Don't go there. But, unwanted software is being distributed on websites via a variety of sources, including ad injectors as well as ad networks. Lacking strict quality guidelines in many cases, safe browsing within your browser is the last line of defense. So good job on Google Safe Browsing. And upping the game here a little bit and working it to keep us all a little more protected. Google's earning, boy, they're up. Strong operating cash flow, $7 billion. Revenues of $17.7 billion, with the revenue growth of 11% year over year. And their core business is doing well, including YouTube. But they continue to do very well financially, and had some great earnings. Some diluted EPS for both the Class A and B common stock was at $4.93 and $6.43 respectively. The Class C stock was even at $6.99 as well. So they did really, really good. They're on the growth, and they're actually trying to trim the fat a little bit over there too. So it is curious to see that even with good profits, that they are trying to lean down a little bit. All right, 15 ID service proprietors get 13 years. Oh, ID theft service proprietor, gets 13 years. A Vietnamese man who ran an online identity theft service that sold access to Social Security numbers and other personal information on more than 200 million Americans has been sentenced to 13 years in a U.S. prison. So Hugh Ming Yo, 25, ran an ID theft service, and a few years ago, he was enticed to go to Guam to get more access to essentially records. These records, and he was able to get into Experian's Consumer Credit Bureau and have direct access to people's data, posing as a private investigator. But they said he made a couple $1 million over the years and just sold IDs and sold information to people in the United States to do false tax returns. So just makes you wonder how much more of this is going on. But again, he made nearly $2 million from his scheme, but he's going to jail for 13 years in the United States federal prison system for a trip to Guam. Bet he wishes he wouldn't have made that trip. Apple might start showing people ads based on their bank balances. Just when you thought Apple wasn't integrated into your life enough, the company just won a patent for a system that targets ads based on how much money people have. This is the same Apple that promised not to monetize your data. As Tim Cook said last year, you're not our product until you are, apparently. So again, the USPTO awarded this targeted ad technology, and apparently it's been in the works for a while, but the system sounds like a cross between Google reading your Gmail messages in order to serve more relevant ads and the one seen in Minority Report. So how are they going to know how much money we have based on our spending habits? They're not actually going to get to see our bank balances. Pretty crazy stuff. Another Apple patent hints at potential solar cell embedded touchscreens. So maybe a way to charge different types of devices maybe at some point by embedding the solar underneath the panel. That's pretty cool. So again, that's a cool idea. Don't know how much validity there is to it. Philae, the comet lander, is flown home to Earth again. After more than 2 weeks of silence, the European Philae lander on the surface of a comet phoned home and sending some data back. So the European Space Agency folks are very, very, very happy at this point. How many of you check on your Windows 10 upgrade if all the software packages that you have on your computer work with Windows 10? There's ability to check your PC. You can check, and it'll go through and look, and it'll grade things on your PC. It'll do some. You want to make sure that the specialized apps, if you're running AutoCAD, a variety of different programs like that they actually work with Windows 10 before the upgrade comes. So don't forget to do that. It's been a while since we've done a big upgrade like this. So we don't want to break something and then you have to go spend money to buy serious money to buy software upgrades for something when it was perfectly fine on the previous operating system. In the UK, they're reporting that data errors are implicating innocent people. This is scary stuff. People were wrongly implicated in a pedophile investigation because of botched attempts to access data, a communications watchdog has said. Mistakes led to 5 police searches at properties linked to innocent people. The Interception and Communication Commissioner Sir Anthony May revealed. His report said there were 17 serious errors in 2014 by public authorities or communication service providers. He said the errors could have had and did have a devastating impact. These mistakes were made during activities to obtain communication data, the who, when, and where, but not the content of the communications under regulations of the Investigative Powers Act. Overall, 9 were caused by human error, with the remainder attributed to technical faults. They're being sued, and some people have gotten in serious trouble over this. Mistyped email addresses, you name it, just small mistakes have led to people's doors getting kicked in that should not have in the UK. So if it's happening there, it's happening here. The president earlier in the week announced an initiative with Google Fiber to help those households earning less than $30,000 per year that want internet access to get internet access. So Google Fiber is working with the White House and the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, aiming to provide broadband access to low-income families. Again, allowing those children and those families to get online, and I think this is a good initiative. So Google Fiber currently serves Atlanta, Durham, Nashville, and Kansas City. However, the company said it plans to expand the free internet initiative in future markets. They're also working with the companies like Best Buy and some other providers across the country. So nice to see that they're doing this, and private industry getting involved and trying to get those connected that aren't to have a good online experience. I've got a drone. I'm flying it respectively. I'm not doing stupid things with it. I'm very, very, very pleased with my drone, and I'm just trying to follow the rules. But a video posted on YouTube shows a drone firing a handgun in a wooded area, and it's caused some pretty serious controversy today. The short video shows a 4-rotored custom drone with a special rig containing a handgun. The handgun proceeds to fire 4 shots. I watched the video, handling the recoil better than might be expected. The user who posted the video also submitted it to Reddit, where a commenter noted that the apparent use of a solenoid trigger, which is a big, big no-no, and basically it's something that automatically will pull the hammer, would class the device as an automatic weapon under ATF rules. But this should scare the living crap out of people. If someone can make a drone, an individual can make a drone and mount a handgun on it, let's think about the very serious implications here. I am all about people having the right to bear arms completely. But some maniac, some insane person is going to see that video, and they're going to get a very bad idea in their head, and they're going to build a drone, and they're going to use it for nefarious reasons. Wow. I think about the very bad potential of what could happen there. Now, still, a person has to have the ability to go if they go into an alleyway, launch the drone, chase down their target, they could probably discard or abandon the drone at that point, especially if they had a handgun that wasn't tracked, and probably not as easily be tracked down by police. So it's crazy. It really, really is. I don't know. I don't know what the world's coming to on this particular topic. We've been droning people for a long time, but this is a new kind of droning people, right? So love to hear your thoughts on this one. geeknews@gmail.com. Nuts. Absolutely nuts. Well, today, 70 years ago, the world fully entered the nuclear age with the detonation of the first atomic bomb in El Morgado, New Mexico. Of course, the bomb was the product of the Manhattan Project, a top-secret research program tasked with developing a bomb more powerful than any that had come before. The test, called Trinity, happened at 5:30 a.m. local time, yielded an explosion equivalent to 20,000 tons of TNT, which then started the arms race going from atomic to nuclear. And so 70 years we have lived in the nuclear age. It's hard to believe, isn't it? Facebook is testing buy button on pages to help small business people sell their stuff, working with a limited number of companies. So I'm sure we're all going to see stuff for sale online with in Facebook very, very soon. So Facebook's bringing the product to you instead of you going to the product on a variety of websites. A lot of reviews now on Microsoft Edge, if that's the new browser by Microsoft. And everyone's saying it's doing pretty doggone good. It's pretty exciting. It's got great load speeds, and it's holding itself well against Chrome and Firefox. And one gentleman did a full range of tests, but Microsoft Edge, this new browser is coming to Windows 10, may revitalize the Microsoft browser line. So definitely we'll be testing that out when we get it. All right, the U.S. FCC has basically rejected Dish's entities to a $3.3 billion auction discount. We knew that they were going to do this, but the commission is basically saying, hey, you're not a small business, and you're not going to get the discounts. So again, they had reviewed 13.3 billion of winning bids by the two entities backed by Dish, and decided again the company did not qualify for the small business discounts. So this news comes as Dish struggles to convince Dutch Telecom AG to sell T-Mobile US Incorporated, according to people familiar with the matter, as the rates for U.S. Airways on which telecommunication devices ranging from ham radios to smartphones rely on intensifies. So not good for them at all. Good for the purse of the American taxpayer. All right, there's a Google self-driving car involved in a first injury accident. The car got rear-ended by another vehicle. It wasn't the smart car's fault, the self-driving car's fault. It was the fault of the vehicle behind them, and the Google employees all went to the doctor having some neck pain. They were cleared sometime later to continue to drive, but the person in the other car also complained of neck and back pain. So apparently they got hit at about 17 miles. Well, they were sitting still, and the person that ran into him was doing about 17 miles per hour. That's enough to get your attention for sure. All right, Back to the Future will be released in theaters for its 30th anniversary. Yes, great. So there's nothing quite like seeing your favorite movie on the big screen with other like-minded weirdos. A couple of weeks back, they had some screenings in Hollywood, but apparently in October 21st, they are going to release Back to the Future again, and it'll be on the big screen, so we all can experience Biff and the skateboard and everything else that took place in Marty and all the love story that happened with Back to the Future. It still is a great movie series. Over in the Washington Post, former Reddit CEO Ellen Powell wrote an op-ed talking about the trolls and the challenges with bullying online. And it's a pretty good one. If you want to read it, I'll have the link up in the show notes for you to check out. At the same time, Reddit's co-founder and new CEO has just laid out a host of changes to the website, website's content policy. He says, today we're announcing that we're considering a set of additional restrictions on what people can say on Reddit, or at least say on our public pages. These types of content are prohibited: spam, anything illegal, discussing illegal activities such as drug use, publication of someone's private confidential information, anything incites harm or violence, anything that harasses, bullies, or abuses an individual group of people, sexual suggestive content featuring minors, and on and on. And they're going to, I don't think they're going to delete those channels. They are going to completely hide them. So I'm sure there'll be a list of all the hidden Reddits that'll be available, and it won't change too much over there. You guys know that on our epic journey to Pluto, that there's not enough sunlight out there to keep that spacecraft powered, and we're running on plutonium in that spacecraft. A lot of the like Voyager 2 and so forth are powered the same way, but there's 24 pounds of plutonium-238 oxide pellets that are on board the spacecraft, and they've got about another 10 years of power based upon the half-life and how many pellets they put on board the spacecraft as it heads outbound. There was a little bit of scare on the International Space Station today. Astronauts dived into the orbiting lab's lifeboats after NASA warned that the habitat could be hit by flying satellite debris. So they had a pretty close call here. The crew of the International Space Station is resuming normal operations after getting it all clear from Mission Control. But apparently they got the word a little late, weren't able to adjust the attitude of the International Space Station, and basically had to, put the station in a protective state. But it was a very close pass. They're not saying how close, but close enough to make them nervous. This is the only fourth time this has ever happened. Also in New Jersey, and parents, please tell your kids, don't point lasers at aircraft. And one of the largest single instances of its kind, some idiot pointed a bunch of lasers at planes flying over New Jersey last night. 11 flights between 9:30 and 10 p.m. Were lased, and one pilot experienced blurred vision as a result. And this is real. These lasers can do real damage. Of course, the feds are looking to figure out who it is, and they're looking for information leading to arrest. So, they're obviously, I don't think a lot of adults are doing this. Maybe I'm wrong, but kids get a hold of these lasers, they can really get you in trouble, get themselves in trouble too. So, make sure you're talking to your kids and any knuckleheads in your family to make sure that they're not pointing lasers at aircraft. All right, Apple, Samsung hatch a plot to murder old swappable SIM cards. And, they took away the batteries first. But Apple and Samsung are reportedly in talks to collaborate in a shared format for embedded SIM cards. Yes, they don't want you to change them out. So, another ploy here. Yes, it is. There's a kind of cool article on what would happen if there was a nickel-sized black hole next to you. I'll save you 4 minutes of video. You die. And in some cases, Earth dies too. Yes, a black hole the size of a nickel. Link will be up in the show notes. Last couple articles tonight. And I don't know how this completely works, but swap your noisy AC for a room cooling dining table that acts as a heat sink. I am not convinced how this actually works, but it's called Zero Energy Furniture. And I swear this looks like an April Fool's things, but it acts like a giant heat sink. How can you turn it? My question is on this table. Okay, it's a heat sink, so the heat still has to go somewhere. It's not like it can hold it and discharge it later. So I'm confused, but they say can lower the temperature in a house. Crazy stuff. All right, we're going to get out of here. I'm punchy and made a few mistakes during the show tonight. So, but I do appreciate everyone hanging out with me. Be back with you on Monday for another edition of Geek News Central Podcast. And thanks again for being here and staying subscribed. Email me, geeknews@gmail.com. And hope you had fun laughing at me as I flubbed several good times tonight during the show. But again, it's been my pleasure. We'll see you on Monday. Everyone take care. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.